doing today? Welcome to my photo editing live stream where I edit your photos using Photolab 8. Ideally, you submitted the photos before the stream started, but sometimes, if I get through them pretty quickly, I can edit one if you submit the one during the stream. Also, I also uploaded a picture of mine that you can edit, and we'll take a look at how you guys edit my photo. Just let you know, I'm suffering from a pretty rough cold. I think I'm at the peak now. So my voice might crack a little bit or sound a little bit off. And I don't know what happened to my mute button here, but I might cough during the stream. So I'm sorry about that. Definitely going to sniffle. But anyhow, let's see. Let me sorry, I got a little brain fog too, but we're gonna get through this, okay? That's the great thing about live streaming is we don't have to worry about catching my cold right through the stream. Okay, I'm gonna move my windows around and then we'll get started. And I'll just jibber jabber a little bit about Photolab. I have my affiliate links down below if you want to download and try Photolab 8. It is my preferred editor of choice, and also supports the work that I do here. And also you can buy me a coffee or just make a donation, or you can become a member for 99 cents a month if you enjoy these kind of streams. I always do my best to answer questions. Like I'll do maybe edit 3 pictures and then stop and look at the chat section and answer any questions you might have about the edit, about Photolab, or really just about anything. But it's good to see everyone here. And okay, we're almost there. Let me hold on. My thing here is not connected. I'm gonna have a hard time switching screens otherwise. Oh, come on. Give me a second. I have to turn this. I have to shut OBS down and restart it maybe. So I'll be right back. But the stream should stay live, God willing. Okay, I should be back. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, the samurai swords. Yeah, I used them as props when I was doing some portraits and stuff. They're real, but I got them for like 70 bucks on Amazon for all 3. And which was stupid. I could have got a fake one for like $30 that's plastic, and then I could take it outside to parks and things. But if I go in public with one of these things, I'll probably get arrested. So I might have to buy a fake one, like a prop, instead of the real thing. I wasn't, they're not very sharp, but I did cut down a cardboard box pretty good with it. Anyhow, excuse me. And I don't know if you guys knew, I had company come over the other day, so I took them out of the. I use my dining room as a studio. I set up my cameras and tripods and lighting, and I had some company over for the holidays, so I took, I had to tear down my studio, and I just put these in here. But anyway, that's why they're there. Yeah, they can cut, definitely. They're pretty, they're real. They're legit swords. I don't know how they last in a real fight, but, they could certainly do some damage. Okay, I think I got this working now. So let me see. Okay, that looks good. I can turn this off. And I just need to pull the chat window up. Excuse me. That was not the mute button. Let me see if I can fix this. Oh, sorry about that. I can't get the I can't get my mute button to work. I have to fix that. For next time. So if I cough, I'm really sorry. Is my webcam working at least? Nope. I got nothing. I hate this. Every time I do a stream, somehow things change and stuff stops working. It's an update or whatever. I don't know what it is. Anyway, Photolab 8 is pretty solid, so I can just start editing. I don't have to worry about that at least. So we'll start here with William Hansen. This will be pretty straightforward. Let's apply basic preset, and I'm just going to do that across the board actually, except for the edit you guys did of mine. So I'm going to apply just a basic preset across the board. Okay. Let's straighten the horizon. So I'll just draw a line. Something like that. That looks good. And I'd like to have a little lead into where the bird is flying. And I can't crop too much because the bird is taking up very, very little bit of the frame. Look at that. There's a little bird down here too, it looks like a hawk or something. And this looks like a juvenile eagle maybe. Okay. So let's just add a little brightness. So I'm going to tighten up the luma mask like so. And then we'll just make the bird brighter. And then I'll go to the global and reduce the brightness of the scene. And we need a couple other small local adjustments. So I'll hit the plus sign. And we'll just work on the head here. Give it a little brightness and some clear view. And a touch of micro contrast. Let's do that for the bird too. We'll give it some micro contrast. And maybe a little bit of clear view. See if we can do the same thing for this guy. Nah, that's not going to look good. But we'll just touch on it a little bit with a new control point. I'm just going to add just maybe a third of a stop. And just a little bit so it's not totally invisible. And I need to tighten up this one because I'm getting a little bit of a halo. Just add another one. Brighten that up. Let's add some saturation. Do the same thing for the talons. I always like to do talons, beak, and eyes, but the eyes are so small in here. Not much I can do there. And then let me get a little bit more clear view. I need a little bit more contrast here. Okay. All right. Maybe just back off the beak a little bit. Okay. And this one's a little bit too strong too, so I'm going to get rid of this and make a new one. And just a touch more saturation. Okay, let's see if we can add, excuse me, a little bit of dynamic range to the scene. So I'm going to darken this upper area here. Let's do it a little more gradual. Let's just pull the blacks and push the midtones. And then in the front, let's make this kind of gradual too. So you can add just a little bit of drama in here. And the color's a little bit off. Let me see if I can, what direction I want to go. If I warm it up a little bit or cool it off, I guess it's fine. How about the top? What if we cooled that off a little bit? Okay. And then we'll just add a little bit of light from the back. Oops. Let's make that kind of gradual. And just add a tiny bit of warmth on that side. Tighten up the chroma mask. Okay. I think I'll call it there. So let me export this. And see what we get. So I see Joanne has come in, and Bert, good to see you. And Gerard Tang, very good to see you. Okay, did that finish? Okay, that finished. All right, so I'm going to reset the original image and compare it with the export we just did. And so yeah, I did quite a bit of crop. And my goal was to basically bring out the details of the bird. So if we zoom in, you can see that the contrast on the bird's pretty low. So I tried to brighten up the whites and bring out some of the color. And that's what we have there. So that's kind of the best we can do with when the bird doesn't fill the frame. So we have to kind of look at it from a more global stance. And then of course, uh, you know, the background is very flat as well. So that's why I did sort of this darkening over here by pulling the blacks and then brightening the more of the highlight area, not the green so much, but just the yellows um, up in here, just to give the overall background a little bit of dynamic range as well. So I think that works. And then we had this little bird down here that I didn't want to get lost in the scene because it's kind of interesting. It's just peeking out here. Uh, so we'll just do a full screen. And so you can see I cropped in quite a bit. But I think that looks really good. Yeah, it's just no contrast and it's a little bit soft. So the noise reduction and sharpening and all of that, the Deep Prime XD did a good job with what we had. Considering we started with, you know, gosh, there's only probably like 1 megapixel on this bird. Okay, let's go to the next one. And this one's from Bert. Okay, so we just need some white balance fix, a little bit of perspective correction. So let's work on the composition first. If I just do autocorrect here, yeah, it's not great. So what I might do, maybe I'll just do a horizon fix. That might be enough rather than a perspective correction. This is wide. Oh yeah, you're at 8 millimeters. That's why it's all stretchy down here. You know, DxO has that perspective tool. I forget what it's called exactly. They gave it to me, but I never installed it. But it would fix like this wide angle distortion down here. Okay, let's fix the white balance. So I'm going to assume the statue's white or whitish, but we'll warm it back up a little bit, just a tad. And let me work on the crop now. I think we can come in a little bit tighter. I don't know if I need this left side or not. Let's do a 3x2 and bring in a little bit of the ceiling. A little bit more tilt. A little more tilt. Actually, what we need is just a slight correction that way. Okay, I don't know if I can recover any of this on the left side or right side, but let's see. I think that's pretty much gone. Yeah, there's nothing there to save, so we'll leave it clipped. But I do want to add some drama to the scene, so I'm gonna push the light over here on the right side and then pull the light down on the left side. So maybe just a control line. Let's see what this looks like. Let's make it a little tighter. Add some clear view and some micro contrast. I want to see the details. And then white balance wise, let's cool it off. Well, not that much, but let's bring it back down a little bit, maybe a little bit here. Okay. Right about there. Make a new control line. I may not keep this, but let's tighten up the Luma mask. So I don't want to push the highlights any more than I have to. So I'm going to pick kind of a darker area here and see if I can just clear view that. Maybe pull the blacks. And then a slight push overall. Let me see where I'm at. Yeah. And let's add a little bit of warmth. And go back to the other one. Let's pull that back a little bit. Okay. Oops, wrong slider. I'd like to do is maybe bring this into Okay. And just a little bit right here. Do a different one. Okay. A little bit too much blue in there, so I'm just gonna desaturate. Let me see. Okay. Might be just a bit too much here. Okay, I think I'll call it there. So let's export that. And reset. And we'll do a side by side with the output. Okay, so I felt like, yeah, this left side just made the distortion really obvious. So, excuse me, one second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to hack up a lung there. And then of course, as always, I want to sort of bring some dynamic lighting in. So I always try to darken one side and brighten the other. And one of the things I noticed though is that when I pulled the brightness down over here, it got way too blue. There was like this blue cast to it. And that's because we did such a harsh correction on the white balance. But so just desaturating it a little bit seemed to work. And I think that looks good. And then one little highlight I added was right here, just to emphasize that light is on just this one side instead of filling the whole room like it is in the original. But I think that looks a lot better. So if we do a full screen and just slide it, you can see. I think the crop, yeah, helped a lot with this distortion, especially this left side. Okay, so that was mostly a white balance correction, but cool. Let's go to the next one. Okay, Joanne sent me here. This looks like, I'm sorry, this is Maurice. This is a JPEG image. So it's going to be very, very difficult to make any corrections on a JPEG for astrophotography shots like this. So this will be pretty quick. I think I'll just start with a global. If Maurice, if you have the original raw file, I could do a lot more with this. But we'll see what we can do with just a JPEG. Let me turn this off. Let's just work with the micro contrast. And just brighten things up a little bit here and there. And then pull the blacks in. And then let's pull these in a bit. Like that. And I don't think I can push these shadows too much, but I'll see. See what we have in here, if anything. Just a little bit. So a little bit more in here. Let's do a separate one for that. These are a lot darker back in here. And we'll pull back the saturation. And tighten up the luma mask so we don't affect the... Let's do the same thing here. Tighten up the luma mask a bit. Okay, and then I don't know if I can do anything in here. Wow, these are some weird artifacts. They're almost like JPEG artifacts in here, but I'm not sure exactly. Maybe the long exposure. What is... Oh, I don't see the exposure info. But let's see if we can push a little bit like this. And then one more control point down here. And I see a little bit of color in here. See if I can bring that out. Of course, that could be just noise, but I'm going to bring it out a little bit. Okay. I mean, compositionally, I think it's really good composition. I just need the raw file. But let's do a quick comparison here. I think, yeah, that's the best I can do with the JPEG. All of the detail in here is pretty much gone. So I just desaturated it and brought the lighting up a little bit, and then pushed the highlights on the stars and pulled the blacks, which is kind of just the first steps when you start doing astro edits. But I'm sure there's the individual stars, and this haze or cloudiness is kind of could also has a lot of potential, but there's just no room in a JPEG to pull out those kinds of details. So if we do, I guess I don't know why I went to a vertical. But it's just a matter of bringing the foreground in a little bit and pushing the highlights in the skies. All right, let's go to the next one. And oh, I got an email from Jan about this. Um, basically, I emailed you back, Jan, but basically his question was about the angle of the lines here, how they're kind of keystoning in, they're, well, you'll see. It'll be easier once I start doing corrections. But if I hit the automatic perspective, you can see it tries to straighten the lines out. Because what's happening here is that the sensor is not perfectly perpendicular to the horizon. So that's part of it. There's also a slight tilt uh, from the top left to the bottom left. I don't know what the correct terminology is from that, but basically the sensor is not perpendicular uh, in all three dimensions against the building. And it's extremely hard to do that uh, if you're just using a ball head tripod. You can get a little closer with a gear head. It's a little easier. But even then, it's still really hard to get perfect. So what I try to do is I look for very solid verticals. So this looks like concrete here, and there's some concrete over here. Generally, those are going to be perfectly straight vertically. So I'm going to use the tool here. Let me deactivate this. Okay, so I'm going to reset everything here and just click on the two lines, and then just bring this in and do a vertical. So this line should be perfectly straight. Right there. And then we'll use this corner of the building. So I'm just zooming in and out so I can see the lines a little better. And I'm using this area on the left side that lets me kind of position the image while I'm using this tool. So that looks good. Go down here. All right, and that line is straight with that line. Okay. So let's go ahead and I'm going to hit enter. And that's going to straighten it out for the most part. But I'm going to zoom in and just double check. This edge looks good. This edge is a little bit off, but it's really close. Just looking at the line here. Yep, that looks good. How about this side? Yeah, this line looks really straight. All right, so there's still a tiny bit of distortion here. One second. So I'm just gonna just tilt it just a little bit right here. Okay, so that gets the lines straight. Now let me see what we got on the crop. So you can see in the crop, what happened here is we have a keystoning and we have a slight horizon correction. So I'm going to try 16:9 and see if I can balance this image a little bit. For me, when it comes to architecture, you know, getting the line straight, of course, is kind of the foundation, right? But also in composition, I like to look for doors. Um, Now you probably don't have access to see the front door from this perspective, or maybe not from anywhere around the building. Maybe it's behind this wall. But that's a big missing piece in this image is there's nowhere for. I mean, there's a couple of small doors here, but it's not like a main entrance. But I think I'll just go with this. Maybe come over as much as I can, and then we'll just do some basic adjustments. We'll make the sky a little more dramatic with clear view. And then let's push the shadow. So I add another control line in here. Maybe just a global, more linear approach. There we go. Might add some clear view in there. And I don't know if there's any point to try to warm this up, but let me see. Just a little. And then I'm going to just use a control point and try and pull these whoops, let me do a plus. And just try and pull these highlights in a little bit. So I'm going to tighten up the luminosity mask a little bit. Just pull that in, give it some micro contrast. And let's do that globally as well. Just some micro contrast. And then I'm going to, let me desaturate the image overall. Just a little bit. And then we're going to add a control point again, a new one, just on the colors here. And just saturate these back in. Just so they stand out a little more. Okay. A little more saturation. Let's see down here. Bring it back a little bit. All right, I think I'm done. So let me export it. And then I'll reset this. Once it's done exporting. Okay, and then let's compare it to my exported image. So I didn't crop very much, just a little bit. We didn't really need to see the edge here where it opens up because we don't see an edge on this side. There's still a little bit of keystoning. Oh, that's the original. I'm sorry. I was looking over here. It's like, why is there still keystoning? And just a very light brightening of the shadows here and a slight white balance shift to get it closer, and then adding some micro contrast. Then I desaturated the whole image to make the colors here stand out. So I desaturated a little bit, then I added saturation back into the wall here that has some kind of paint. So if we look at it this way, there's the original. And there's the edit. Okay. Hey Eric, how are you? And I see Paul has walked in, and Bert, you're welcome. I'm glad that was helpful. Excuse me. All right, let's see what we have here. This one's from John Follows. Nikon Z8 with a 90. Oh, the Tamron 90 macro. That's an awesome lens. Let's see. So I got some kind of origami. And the lighting is really, really soft and even here. So I'm gonna see if I can bring that out. Whoops. Exposure is good overall. So we use a control line. Oops, I'm in this compare mode. Sorry. Let me get there. Okay. So we'll use a control line, and we'll make the right side a little bit darker. So I'm going to use my eyedropper and just put it on the ground. And we'll tighten up the, maybe the Luma mask just a little bit. Just pull that side in. Let me think. If I do it this way, I might be able to fake a shadow here. So I'll fake a little bit of a shadow there, a little bit of a shadow here. And then add a little bit in here. All right, let's I might get rid of all that, but I just wanted to try it. Okay, let's do another control point. And just push the highlights. All right, let's push it just a little bit. And warm that up. Go back here. I'm going to cool this one off. And we just need a little bit more light in here. And some micro contrast. Let me do some micro contrast over here too. Let me see if clear view gives it any. Nah. Okay, and this guy's a little bit too dark. Okay. I think that's all I can do here. Maybe just a little bit of a touch of a shadow here. Okay. So I don't really need to export this because it's already pretty clean. But again, kind of the same idea as most of my other edits today is just adding some contrast to the lighting. So I tried to emphasize a little bit of a shadow on the right side and more light on the left side. And not my most convincing edit, but you kind of get the idea of the direction I'm going. But yeah, I think that's all I can do here. Okay, let's do the next one. And we have another river here. This is from Joanne. Oh, this is the same bridge over here from last week. So, I don't know. Let me see. There's hardly any light back here. Let me just brighten this up. Let me just see what we have. So I have the same trail here. A little bit of fall colors. Okay. And then this reflection. Okay. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to work basically the same area right in here. So let's do, I'm not sure. I'm going to try a couple of different ways to do this. I'm just not crazy about this part. Let me see what this is. Let me try. I mean, if we do a wide, okay, that kind of works, but it's a little bit heavy on the right side. So I think I'll work like this. Okay. I'll just stick with the 16 by 9. Just need to tilt it a tiny bit. And let's see if we can bring out some of the colors in here. Okay. That looks good. Let me desaturate it globally. And then I can bring colors back in using control points. So like that, maybe a little bit of vibrancy, a little bit of warmth. Do the same thing on that side. On that side, a little bit smaller. And down here. Okay. Pushing the highlights. Okay. See if we can fix the sky with a control line. Whoops. Tighten up the Luma mask. And then push the clear view. And bring the highlights in a tiny bit. Oops, not that much. Something like that. Okay, and then a little bit more touch here and there with some shadows. Tighten up that Luma just a bit. Okay, let's do another control line on the water. And then I think I need to pull the greens in a bit. This grass is a little bit too strong. Maybe just a white balance shift. And let's just push that just a tiny bit. And the sky. Sky is very sensitive today. All right, I think that'll do it. Let's just do a quick comparison. So yeah, there's just way too much space in this frame for me. So yeah, I did a pretty heavy crop over here so that this bridge stands out a little more. And when I brighten the image, I could see some, fall colors back here. So that's why I wanted to kind of emphasize those as well. And there's a couple of spots here. These look like birds flying around, so I just kind of left those in there. But yeah, I think that looks better overall. So yeah, there's the before and there's the after. Okay. Let's see, anything else? One more left here. And we have a boat here docked. Okay. So let's do maybe let's see what the auto lighting does. That doesn't do jack. So I might do a black and white on this because the the dynamic range is so strong that if I try and recover this boat, let me see, and save the sky at the same time, I might have a hard time, but let me try that. But I might have to go black and white. Yeah, these highlights are totally clipped, it looks like. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Oh, so Paul says he did a HDR on this. Yeah, that would make sense, right, for this scene. But this says 0 EV over here, unless you were in, oh, you're in manual mode. So, so you were looking at your EV meter. It's not going to be reflected here that you dialed in -1 when you're in manual mode. So, um, okay, let's try black and white. So I might have to do separate control line for this. And this one, I might be able to use the color or the channel mixer they call it, but it's just not seeing those colors. So it's definitely seeing the red. So let's make the reds really dark. And then on the water, I'm definitely gonna see if I can just make that darker. Do the same thing up in here. Okay. And I don't know if a brush is the right way to go, but let me see. I just want to bring this up a little bit. Okay. Oops, why didn't it let me? Just a little bit more there, a little bit there, a little bit here. And maybe we'll just pull a little bit out. Okay. I think that'll do it. All right, so yeah, I think I think the black and white works pretty well because the reds are just too much in the shadows for me to try to recover and make it look semi-decent. I see one other thing I should fix here. Let me see. Let me work on this red a little bit more down here. And we'll do, I just noticed there's like these little ports in here. Okay. Just wanted to make those stand out a little more, but I think that looks good. So we'll do another side by side here. Yeah, I think that's not bad. If I convert this back to color, I guess the color version's not bad either. There's definitely some light that I can try to bring in with a control line. Maybe right here. Like that, and just warm it up a tiny bit. Okay. I think that helps. Okay, now that looks good. Actually, that's the color. What's the black and white look like? I like the color better now. Okay. So yeah, just adding a little more light over here. Let's see if I can exaggerate that a bit. Oops, wrong. I selected the wrong one. Sorry, this one. And just give it a little more warmth. Right there. Okay. So I think that works. Just push a little more light onto the front because I could see it here, but the image is really dark, right? Because it's -1 on top of this bright sky. So I think that works. Okay, let's see what you guys did with my image. And where's my original? I think this is the original image, so I'm going to set this as the reference. So yeah, excuse me. This is my original image that I took. This is, I forget the name of the place. Like I said, I'm having a little brain fog. But anyhow, this was Savage Mill. So this is a piece of the old mill, what's left of it. And we'll go over here to the first edit. This one here is from William. Okay. Interesting with this white vignette. A nice tight crop. Yeah. Overall, pretty good. A little brightening. That's cool. But I think this white vignette sort of makes it look a little brighter than it is. And then we have, let's see, this one over here. This one is from Jan. So a little bit of a crop to get rid of this more modern building in the background and then some desaturation. Yep, that looks good. Of course, now you can do perspective correction, right? Because you know the lines aren't perfectly straight in this, but okay. And then let's go over here. I think this one's next. Oh wow, who's this from? Paul. This is an interesting crop. I see you're trying to balance. Has a really good balance. And the colors, you know, the colors are very strong. And this is actually pretty decent processing. Just looking at it a little bit closer. I mean, a lot of sharpening, but that's okay. I think this image is fine with a little bit of over sharpening. Because it takes it takes a very busy scene here, right? And it just embraces how chaotic it is. But I think it works. Okay, and then another one from Paul, another tight crop. Okay, this one here is basically the same processing, but a different angle. I think this could be really interesting as a diptych, you know? So, like, if you did this as a diptych, it would be kind of interesting. 'Cause you got this contrast of the blues and orange, like this teal orange, typical cinematic color scheme. But, uh, as a diptych, this could be interesting, but, you would have to size it so that everything matched up and stuff. But this could be an interesting diptych. Okay, so let me go back to okay, next one up here. Oh, Paul again with a black and white this time. Yeah, same idea, right? You're really embracing the chaotic and very busy scene by just sharpening the heck out of it and then adding a ton of contrast on top of that. Really interesting. That's an awesome black and white edit. And then let's see. This one's from Bert. Okay. I like this. A little desaturation and push on the highlights and pull on the shadows for contrast. But then the midtones look pretty much the same. But yeah, I like this desaturated look. I think it works really well. And this crop is just right for this scene because you got rid of this modern building, but you didn't leave a gap here. You just cropped right into the building itself. I like this crop too. It makes it a little bit heavy on the right side, but I think the processing and desaturating helps offset that a little bit. Okay, and then a little bit of brushing of correcting this distraction up in here. Like there were some leaves here, right? That were kind of creeping into the scene. These leaves here. So that looks good. Okay, and then this one is from Marcel. Yeah, Marcel did some heavy light painting. Basically, you just pull the exposure on the image, cool it off a little bit on the white balance, and then add the light where you want it. In this case, in the center on the graffiti. It's quite interesting. This is kind of Marcel's signature editing, right? Whenever I see an edit, I can right away recognize that this is Marcel's. Okay, and then the last one here. Uh, yeah, another Marcel edit. But this one is this I guess this is sort of a moonlight shot, right? I would have made it just a little brighter overall, but yeah, I see where you're going with it. That's cool. Okay, so I think we're all set. Let me thanks for bearing with me through my cold here with the coughing and sniffling. Hopefully I'll be hopefully I'll be better by Sunday where I'm not if I'm not, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm at the peak or if I'm just like got one more day of really bad like symptoms and then go back downhill, but hopefully by Christmas I'll be okay. Oh, I was supposed to go to a party today. I don't think I can make it. But anyhow, everyone, thank you so much for sending your images in. It's always a lot of fun to see what you guys take pictures of and allowing me to edit them and hopefully give you some ideas for editing your own pictures and using the tools in Photolab 8. Like I said, I love Photolab 8. It gives the best results overall. I mean, not every tool in Photolab 8 is perfect, but what is, right? I think uh, you know, as you've seen in other streams, some of the automatic brushing needs a little more work. But other than that, when it comes to workflow and all of that, I really enjoy using Photolab 8. Uh, and hopefully you guys are learning a lot by me editing your pictures, because whenever you watch like reviews of Photolab 8, it's always they cherry pick their images, and it's like, well, then you get Photolab 8 and it's like, how come my images are, I can't get them, the way I want to look using. Oh, I'm having some brain fog with all this medication too. So I'm going to end it here. If there's no other questions, again, thank you for sending your images in. I really appreciate it. And if I don't talk to you again, have a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, holiday, and New Year. Thanks for coming in today, and we'll see you again soon, God willing.